Welcome to our exploration of South Korea's fascinating micro-apartments, where space is at a premium and creativity knows no bounds. In this video, we'll unveil a hidden world behind tiny doors, revealing just how small these living spaces can be. We'll delve into the design innovations that make these apartments livable despite their limited space, meet the residents who call them home, and examine the impact of this living trend on community and sustainability. Join us as we discover the unique challenges and benefits of embracing such a compact lifestyle in the bustling heart of South Korea. 1. A hidden world behind tiny doors. Imagine opening a door and stepping into a home barely bigger than your bedroom. It sounds almost unbelievable, but for thousands in South Korea, this is everyday life. These micro-apartments are so compact, you could nearly touch both walls at once. The shock isn't just in the size, it's in how people have learned to live, dream, and even thrive in spaces smaller than some walk-in closets. This new way of living has sparked surprise, curiosity, and even a sense of admiration for the creativity and resilience it inspires. 2. How small is micro? Micro-apartments in South Korea are astonishingly tiny, ranging from just 10 to 30 square meters. That's about 107 to 323 square feet. To put that into perspective, a typical parking space for a car is around 12 square meters. So, some people are literally living in homes the size of a parking spot. Compared to the average apartments in the US or Europe, these micro-units are shockingly small. Every inch counts. Residents learn to move with intention, and there's simply no room for clutter. 3. Design that defies logic. Step inside one of these tiny homes, and you'll be amazed at how much can fit into such a small space. Designers have gotten incredibly clever, squeezing in fold-down beds, tables that disappear into walls, and hidden storage under every surface. Open-plan layouts are common, with sleeping, eating, and working all happening in one room. Giant windows are sometimes used to pull in light and make the room feel bigger than it is. It's the art of living small, and it often feels a bit like magic. 4. Who lives in micro-apartments? Most residents are young professionals or students, people who want to be close to the action but can't afford big city rents. For many, location beats luxury. They'd rather be near their job, university, or the subway than have more space. Single people and those just starting their careers are especially drawn to these units. It's a lifestyle choice, but sometimes it's a necessity, pushed by the soaring costs of housing in cities like Seoul. For some, it's a stepping stone, for others, it's a longer-term solution. 5. The price of a tiny home. The biggest draw of micro-apartments is usually the price. In Seoul, for example, you can rent one of these units for as little as $300 to $600 per month, depending on the building and location. That's a fraction of what a regular apartment might cost in the city's center. For young people just starting out, or anyone on a tight budget, that's a game changer. However, with lower prices come compromises. There's less privacy, less storage, and sometimes fewer amenities. 6. Living small. The daily challenges. There's no sugarcoating it. Living in a micro-apartment can be tough. The space is so limited that even a week's worth of laundry can feel overwhelming. Guests? Forget it. There's barely room for one person, let alone two. Privacy is at a minimum, and if you're used to having a separate bedroom or even a couch, you'll have to adjust. Storage becomes a daily puzzle, and it forces you to ask yourself, do I really need this? Every time you buy something new. 7. Making room for community. To keep loneliness at bay, many micro-apartment buildings make space for common areas, lounges, shared kitchens, or even tiny gyms. This helps create a sense of community among residents, who might otherwise never meet their neighbors. These shared spaces can become the heart of the building, where people cook together, chat, or unwind after work. For some, these communal spots end up feeling more homey than their actual apartments. 8. Minimalism by necessity. Living in such a tiny space naturally leads to a minimalist lifestyle. You can't keep things you don't truly love or use. Many micro-apartment dwellers become experts at decluttering and organizing, trimming their belongings down to the bare essentials. It's not just about making space, it's about making life simpler. This shift can be liberating for some, while for others, it's an ongoing challenge that never quite gets easier. 9. Greener living in smaller spaces. There's an unexpected upside to these tiny homes. They're better for the planet. Smaller spaces need less energy to heat, cool, and light, which means a smaller carbon footprint. Residents often become more conscious consumers, buying less and wasting less. Living small can mean living green, and for a country facing big environmental challenges, that's no small thing. 10. The future of micro-apartments in South Korea. With more people moving into cities and housing prices staying sky-high, the demand for micro-apartments is only expected to grow. Developers are getting even more creative, experimenting with new layouts and high-tech features to make these spaces more comfortable. Smart home technology is starting to show up in some buildings, making tiny living a little bit smarter and easier. It's a trend that could spread beyond Korea's borders, as other countries face similar urban pressures. 11. What life feels like inside four tiny walls. Living in a micro-apartment means constantly adapting, learning to let go, and making the most of every inch. For some, it's a struggle, for others, it's a badge of honor. As one resident put it, you learn to appreciate the little things, literally. The experience can be both humbling and empowering. It's not for everyone, but for those who embrace it, micro-living can offer a surprising sense of freedom and possibility.